Have you ever realized that the most painful weapon someone can use against you isn't a scream, but total silence? We are dissecting the agonizing gap between your question and their response to reveal a calculated strategy of dominance. This isn't just bad communication. It's a deliberate tool used to erode your self-worth and keep you trapped in a cycle of desperate uncertainty. Silence becomes control the moment you start changing yourself just to earn a response. Waiting becomes a prison when another person learns they don't have to lock the door, because you'll stay inside willingly. Have you ever stared at your phone and felt your entire mood depend on whether a notification appears? Not because of love, not because of respect, but because somewhere, quietly, your peace became attached to someone else's decision to answer you. You send the message. You see, delivered. Minutes become hours become days, and something strange begins to happen. You stop living in your own mind and start living inside theirs. You replay every interaction. Was I too much? Did I say something wrong? Should I apologize? Should I send another message? You begin negotiating with silence as if silence contains hidden meaning. But what if that emptiness isn't accidental? What if the unanswered text, the delayed reply, the emotional distance isn't confusion, but strategy? Because the most painful weapon people use isn't anger. Anger at least acknowledges your existence. Silence is different. Silence says, you can stay here and wonder. And while you wait, you give away your attention, your confidence, your emotional energy, little by little, until one day you realize something terrifying. You are no longer trying to communicate. You are trying to earn permission to matter. Today, we're opening a door. Most people never realize they're trapped behind, because this isn't about bad communication. This is about psychological control hidden inside absence. And once you understand how silence works, you stop begging for closure and start becoming impossible to control. Rejection hurts once, silence hurts every minute. Imagine two scenarios. In the first, someone tells you directly, I don't want this anymore. Painful, sharp, but clear. In the second, they disappear. No explanation, no closure, no certainty, and somehow, that pain feels deeper. Why? Because the human mind was never designed to tolerate unfinished stories. Psychologists call this the Zeigarnik effect, the tendency to remember incomplete experiences more intensely than completed ones. Your brain hates open loops. When something remains unresolved, your mind keeps returning to it again and again, searching for completion. That's why silence becomes addictive. Not because the person is valuable, but because uncertainty creates emotional dependence. Casinos understand this. Social media understands this. And some people understand this too. They know unpredictable attention creates stronger attachment than consistent affection. One reply, then distance, one moment of warmth, then disappearance. Your brain begins chasing the next emotional reward, like someone pulling a rope and then letting it go, again and again, until eventually you stop asking, do they care about me? And start asking, how do I make them care? That question changes everything, because now your attention no longer belongs to you. Carl Jung once warned, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. You think you're waiting for them, but in reality, you're trapped inside your own need for resolution, and the silence keeps winning because you believe the answer exists outside you. But silence rarely contains wisdom. Most of the time, silence is empty. You are the one filling it with meaning. You become detective, judge, story writer, and executioner, all at once. Meanwhile, the other person may not even realize the world you've built around their absence. Or worse, they realize it perfectly, because control doesn't always come through force. Sometimes control looks like making someone wait long enough that they start controlling themselves. And the moment you understand that, the leash begins to break. The most dangerous relationships are not the ones that make you feel unwanted. They are the ones that make you feel wanted. Occasionally, there is a reason people stay attached to someone who gives almost nothing. And no, it is not weakness. It is not desperation. It is something much older. Imagine a traveler lost in a desert. If there is no water at all, eventually he stops searching. But if water appears once, then disappears, then appears again, he keeps walking, longer, harder, until exhaustion feels like hope. That is how intermittent attention works. Not enough to satisfy, just enough to keep you waiting. One warm message, then cold distance. One deep conversation, then unexplained silence. One moment that feels like connection, followed by days that feel like abandonment. And suddenly your entire emotional world begins revolving around rare moments of validation. You tell yourself, they do care. They're just busy. They're complicated. They're going through something. Maybe. Sometimes that's true. But when inconsistency becomes a pattern, something deeper begins happening. You stop evaluating reality. You start protecting possibility. That distinction changes everything, because reality asks, what am I consistently receiving? Possibility whispers, but what if tomorrow is different? And possibility can become a prison. Ancient philosophers understood this long before psychology gave it names. The Buddha taught that attachment is not suffering because of what we have, but because of what we fear losing. But there is another form of suffering, attachment to what we barely have at all, because uncertainty keeps imagination alive, and imagination often feels stronger than truth. Think about modern life. You post something online. Refresh, refresh, refresh. Not because each notification matters, but because maybe the next one will. That maybe is powerful. People can become exactly the same, not intentionally. Not always maliciously, but emotionally unavailable people often create cycles that feel almost impossible to leave, because your nervous system stops seeking connection and starts seeking relief. Read that again. You are no longer excited to hear from them. You are simply relieved. Relief disguised as love becomes dependency, and dependency disguised as romance becomes control. Then one day, something frightening happens. You receive the message, the attention, the reply, and instead of joy, you feel peace, temporary peace, because the waiting stopped, until it starts again. This is the hidden cost nobody talks about. Silence doesn't just steal time, it retrains your standards. You begin celebrating basic respect. You call crumbs a feast. You call unpredictability passion. You call emotional survival chemistry. But real connection doesn't feel like withdrawal. Real connection does not make your self-worth fluctuate with read receipts. The philosopher Camus wrote that the struggle itself fills the heart, but not every struggle deserves your heart. Some struggles exist only because someone else refuses clarity, and clarity delayed long enough becomes a form of power. So ask yourself something difficult. If they disappeared completely tomorrow, would you miss them? Or would you miss the hope that one day they would finally become who you needed? That question changes lives, because sometimes you are not addicted to the person. You are addicted to the moment they become different. And freedom begins the second you stop waiting for potential and start responding to reality. The cruelest part of silence isn't that it leaves you alone. It's that it slowly convinces you that you deserve to be. At first, you notice their absence. But eventually, you stop noticing what they're doing and start investigating yourself. That is the hidden shift, and it happens so quietly that most people never realize it. The unanswered message becomes, maybe I talked too much. The delayed response becomes, maybe I'm too emotional. The distance becomes, maybe I expect too much. And before long, you are carrying responsibility for emotions that never belonged to you. This is how silence becomes psychological, because direct criticism can be challenged. But silence leaves space, and human beings hate empty space. So the mind fills it, usually with self-blame. Imagine walking into a dark room. You hear movement. You cannot see what's there. Your brain immediately creates stories. Fear thrives where information disappears. Relationships work the same way. When communication disappears, imagination becomes louder than truth, and imagination is rarely kind. It searches old wounds, old insecurities, old memories. Maybe childhood moments where approval felt inconsistent. Maybe relationships where affection had to be earned. Maybe years spent believing that being chosen meant being valuable. Suddenly, silence doesn't feel new anymore. It feels familiar. That's why some people stay trapped, because they aren't responding to the present. They're reliving an older emotional pattern. Carl Jung believed that what remains unconscious returns in different forms, not because life is repeating, but because the lesson was never understood. That's why two people can experience the same silence differently. One person thinks they're unavailable. Another thinks, I must not be enough. Same event, different identity, and identity decides suffering. There's something painful to admit. People who fear abandonment often become experts at self-correction. You become easier, smaller, less demanding, less expressive. You remove pieces of yourself, hoping the relationship becomes easier to keep. You stop double texting, stop asking questions, stop expressing disappointment, stop saying what hurts, until eventually you become emotionally invisible, trying not to be abandoned. And that's the paradox. You abandon yourself to stop someone else from abandoning you. But silence was never asking for perfection. Silence was revealing where your worth had become negotiable. Because healthy relationships don't require emotional shape-shifting. You should not need to become mysterious to receive attention. You should not need to become unavailable to feel valuable. You should not have to earn basic clarity. There is a sentence that changes everything. Someone else's inability to communicate is not evidence that your feelings are too much. Read that slowly, because silence often tricks people into measuring their value through another person's availability, and that measurement is always unstable. The philosopher Nietzsche once warned, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." But many people in silent relationships reverse this. They create a why for someone else and sacrifice themselves in the process. They wait, interpret, adjust, hope, until they forget a dangerous question. Why am I working this hard to be understood? Because people who truly value connection may fail sometimes, but they don't make confusion your permanent home. And once you stop treating silence like evidence, you begin seeing it for what it often is: information, not about your worth, but about their capacity. The day you stop waiting is not the day you stop caring. It's the day you stop handing someone else authority over your peace. There is a moment that arrives quietly, no dramatic music, no final argument, no perfect closure, just a small realization that changes everything. You are tired, not tired of loving, not tired of hoping, tired of standing emotionally still while someone else decides whether your life moves forward. And for the first time, you ask a question that should have been asked long ago. What am I postponing while I wait? Because waiting has a hidden cost. You think you are waiting for a text, but really, you are delaying conversations, delaying opportunities, delaying joy, delaying becoming the version of yourself that exists outside this emotional orbit. Waiting is rarely passive. It is active self-suspension. You stop reaching for life because part of you believes everything becomes meaningful once they return. But think carefully. If one person's attention can switch your identity on and off, then the relationship isn't feeding your life, it's regulating it. And that's where freedom begins. Not with anger, not with revenge, not with proving your value. Freedom begins with withdrawal of emotional permission. You stop asking, "How do I get them to respond?" and start asking, "What does their silence already tell me?" That question changes power, because silence communicates. Not always rejection, not always manipulation, but always information. And information becomes useful the moment you stop resisting it. Maybe they are emotionally unavailable. Maybe they are confused. Maybe they simply cannot meet you where you stand. Whatever the answer, your life cannot remain paused until clarity arrives. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Most people misunderstand this. It doesn't mean feelings disappear. It means your decisions no longer wait for permission. You miss them, but move. You care, but move. You feel sadness, but move. Because healing is not forgetting. Healing is refusing to make your future dependent on uncertainty. Imagine holding a rope. At the other end is someone who occasionally pulls. Every time they pull, you feel alive. Every time they let go, you panic. So you grip tighter, your hands bleed. You call this loyalty, you call this patience, you call this love. Then one day, you do something unexpected. You open your hand. Nothing dramatic happens. The world does not collapse. The sky stays where it is. Your heartbeat slows, and suddenly, you realize something. You were never being dragged. You were holding on. That realization hurts, but it also frees, because if your hand created the prison, your hand can create the exit. And here is the truth most people discover too late. The people meant for your life do not require endless interpretation. They may be imperfect, busy, complicated, human, but they do not leave you surviving on emotional breadcrumbs. Love is not measured by intensity. It is measured by safety, by clarity, by consistency, by the ability to exist fully without shrinking. So if someone's silence has become louder than your own voice, listen carefully, not to what they might say, but to what your life has been saying underneath the waiting. Maybe this entire season was never about losing them. Maybe it was about finding the version of you that no longer needs to chase certainty. And if that's true, then silence was never the ending. It was the mirror. And now, you finally get to walk away from your reflection. If this video found you during a season of waiting, leave one word in the comments: released. Not because you stopped feeling, but because you stopped negotiating your worth. And remember, the moment you stop waiting to be chosen, you begin choosing yourself.